The Mercury map release, new elites, plenty of new information on future content from our trusty data miners, and more controversy around boins only cosmetics. This is your week on the battlefield. Welcome to this episode of This Week on the Battlefield, the show where we cover news, updates, the community, and so much more all around the Battlefield franchise. In this week's episode then, not only do we have this week's patch to talk about, but also content coming next week in form of the new Mercury map. We have a huge wealth of information from our data miners on new weapons, gadgets, map locations, and elites, all coming in the future, but also plenty of community news items surrounding the changes to health and ammo attrition, the buggy nature of the latest update to Battlefield 5, and some good old boins controversy. And to round all of that off, as per usual of course, we've got some only in Battlefield moments for you guys to enjoy. But starting off with the news as we always do, this week of course we got a big patch for Battlefield 5, bringing about changes to visibility, changes to the health and ammo attrition system, new Firestorm locations for those who love Firestorm, amongst of course a huge list of changes, bug updates, and weapon balance additions. Of course, if you want to know the full details of this update, because I will not be covering it in detail in today's video, I'll have linked down below in the description and up above in the info card a video I did going over the full details provided by the patch notes. Of course, this update also brought a number of bugs with it, which we'll be discussing a little bit later on in today's video, but it also gave us a new weapon in form of the Boys AT rifle, another subject I've already done a video on, and we also got the tank battle map rotation this week, giving us a mixture of conquest and breakthrough on large vehicular maps with shorter respawn times for those vehicles to make the unlock of the Boys AT rifle through this week's Tides of War challenge a little bit less painful, if you so will, because the challenges aren't exactly great, especially if you're not a big fan of Firestorm. Also in this week's news, we have DICE looking for feedback on Fortress, so I'll leave a link down below in the description to the Reddit and forum discussions on that if you want to sound off on what you think could be improved about Fortress, if you'd like to see the game mode come back again in the future, or if you'd like to see the very idea of it abolished forever. Make sure you go and let DICE know down below in those links because they are looking for your feedback. In terms of what to expect then next week, if you thought this week was a big update for Battlefield 5, next week will be no different. Because not only will we be getting the trailer for the Mercury map, finally a new map for Battlefield 5, but we will also actually be getting to play it because it will be releasing sometime next week, I assume with the next Tides of War mission, which would of course be Thursday. We're also going to be getting a set of interesting community broadcasts, one on the new rank system. Supposedly finally we will be getting that information given that it was delayed now for what seems like an eternity after it was first announced, and we're also going to be getting a community broadcast on the update to mode rotations, whatever exactly that's supposed to mean. If you're interested to know what you'll be able to unlock in next week's Tides of War mission, that's going to be a melee weapon, the Fallschirmjäger Switchblade, and the following weeks after that we do now know that we're going to be able to unlock the Napalm skill for the Sturmgewehr 1.5, and in the final week of this chapter of Tides of War we'll be getting the MAB 38, which is what I believe a new SMG for the medic class. Also in news, and this comes of course as no surprise because we got a big update for Battlefield 5, we have plenty of data mining additions to talk about, new information provided by our trusty members in the Reddit community, specifically of course as per usual, Temporal. We got the first look at the first elite soldiers, Wilhelm and Hannah, things that will supposedly be confirmed next week as well. So if you're into elite skins, this will be interesting for you, but more interesting for me personally, we got a whole host of new weapons confirmed supposedly found in the game files, amongst them the LAD LMG, the K3142 bolt action, the lunge mine, which is an anti-tank weapon, so a gadget, the flamethrower pistol, which is supposedly going to be exclusive to the 5v5 mode. We also got specific stats on previously found weapons, specifically the MAB 38, the Karabin 1938M, and the Walter PPK pistol. This includes not only weapon stats, but also even the specializations that will be available for them. I won't go into too much detail as to what the exact specializations and stats are. If you are interested in those, I'll leave the Reddit post linked down below in the description as per usual. We've also got some more updates on the M2 carbine, the Breda M1935 PG, which is the burst assault rifle, the Model 37 shotgun, and the S&W Model 27 in both short and long barrel variant, that being of course a secondary revolver. All of these as of now are still bound to the 5v5 competitive mode, but I think it's not exactly a stretch of the imagination to assume that these will be coming to the base game multiplayer more or less when they launch for the 5v5 mode as well. So especially the M2 carbine and the Breda M1935 PG, I think will be welcome additions to the assault rifle class of weaponry. If you want a little bit more details on the 5v5 competitive mode, I'm not going to be covering it in today's video, but again, check out the Reddit post by Temporeal on the matter link down below in the description. He goes into a couple of details on the competitive classes and perks that he's now been able to update or find in the game files. As regarding the 5v5 maps, we now have at least locations where they supposedly are going to be set. The first being Lofton Island in Norway, an important center for production of fish oil and glycerine used for the German war economy, and the second the Almaj encampment in Libya, a fortification built by the Turkish in 1842 and at the time of World War II, towards the mid-end of it, used as the capital of British-occupied Cyrenaica. But over to the community news, and this week was most definitely not a quiet week for that, because there was plenty of discussion in the Battlefield community about plenty of varied topics. The first, of course, being a general positive reception of the anti-attrition moves made in the last update to Battlefield 5, allowing players to take ammo and health from players who are either carrying the medic crate or the ammo crate. Now, I am personally absolutely in agreement with these changes, because I just find it a pain in the ass not being able to interact with teammates who are unwilling to give me health, but there are plenty of players out there who like the more hardcore attrition feel of Battlefield 5, and they most likely are upset to see these changes introduced. If you have feedback for DICE, they have specifically stated they want it regarding these attrition changes, because this is only one of many they're supposedly going to be making. So if you're pro or against them, have new ideas or changes you want to request, make sure you get in touch with the developers either of Twitter, Reddit, Battlefield forums, or whatever your preferred form of communication is, and let them know about your suggestions. Also, of course, we got plenty of outrage this week thanks to yet another extraordinarily horrendously buggy patch introduced with Battlefield 5. For all the good that this week's patch did, there was plenty of new bugs introduced that really just shouldn't be happening in a AAA game. And for good reason, we've seen plenty of people start comparing Battlefield 5's patch development cycle to the early days of Battlefield 4, not in terms of the instability of the game, but more in terms of how every patch introduces new and worse bugs than it previously fixed. I, for my part, already alluded some of the issues that the patch brought in when I did my weapon review on the Boys AT rifle. As most in the community, I'm really wondering where the quality assessment part of DICE's patchmaking is, well, hiding really, because they really can't currently be doing much other than hiding somewhere under a desk, given how buggy the patches lately have been. And lastly, in more outrage news, because the Battlefield community sure does love being salty, and I'm no exception to that, we have the pit crew scandal, if you so will. Previously a skin available for company coins in the game, but at a later stage removed, and now it has reappeared, but not once more for company coins or behind some special assignment to unlock it. No, it's exclusively available for boins, which is of course a great way to piss off everybody that hears of this, whether they wanted this skin or not. It's just a little bit of a scummy move, and well, it just brings up the point once more that all of the recently added skins, or at least most of the recently added skins, I would even argue the majority, especially those that are semi-decent looking, have all only been available for premium currency. And if I bring your attention back to what was released to us regarding the premium currency when the game went live, and it was announced that there would be premium currency, this once more very much feels like DICE misled us with the initial information that they provided on premium currency, and a lot of us, including myself, feel a little bit cheated here, given that most of us understood this to mean that yes, every content in the game would be available for us to grind for if we wanted to use in-game currency instead of real-life money. I, for my part, haven't spent a dime on points just yet, not only because I don't like the system as per se and find the prices to be outrageous, but also because I haven't really found any content yet that I think would be worth my money. That's for every individual to decide for themselves, so if you want the pit crew skin and you have enough points to spend on it, go ahead, knock yourself out. But with that, we go over to our only in Battlefield moments. And to start off with today, then we have a few very short but very nice clips I thought I would just stitch together for you guys to enjoy. Next up then we have Dark Energy, pulling one hell of a maneuver in a bomber, taking out a pursuing fighter with the help of his bombs. And lastly, in what is quite a lengthy clip, but I have decided to show it in its entirety, we have Vatican Cleave going up against what seems to be an entire server of absolutely clueless and incompetent enemies. Thankfully though, he knows exactly how to take advantage of that. Enjoy his 18 kill rampage. But with that, we're coming to the end of this week's episode. If you enjoyed the show, found it interesting or entertaining, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share, and of course hit me up with your feedback, suggestions, and opinions down below in the comments or over on Twitter. With that being said, however, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you in the next episode of This Week on the Battlefield.